She was convinced I'd collapse, beg, and chase after her. That was the grave miscalculation she made. When she sneered and tossed out, "Fine, go ahead," then, "Walk away," her eyes glittered with the smugness of someone sure they'd already won. In her mind, I'd come crawling back, broken, desperate, unable to function without her. But I didn't argue. I didn't plead. I quietly packed my belongings. Shirts folded, shoes neatly lined up, every action deliberate, controlled, and then I walked out. The door shut with a soft click, and the silence that followed unsettled her more than any words could. I caught the flicker of doubt in her face as I left. She never realized silence was the sharpest weapon I had. For 7 years, we called it a marriage. 7 years of dinners shared under hushed tones, whispered assurances, and nights where I believed we were laying the bricks of a life together. I worked myself to exhaustion, believing I was building stability for us. She claimed I was too tired, too distant. All the while, she was opening our bed to another man. At first, I brushed away the warning signs. The late-night texts she flipped her phone over to hide, the strange perfume that clung to her after errands, the kisses that grew colder with each passing day. I told myself it was pressure, that she'd find her way back to me, that love could carry us through. But love doesn't live in shadows. Love doesn't laugh into the phone the moment the shower drowns out the sound. Deep inside, I knew the truth long before the evidence found me. It landed on a Tuesday. She was humming in the kitchen when her phone lit up with a message from a number I didn't recognize. The words were raw, possessive, the kind of language a man uses when he thinks he owns someone. My chest tightened with bitterness. Yet I forced myself to remain calm. She stirred the pot, smiling at me as though nothing was wrong. But she wasn't my partner anymore. She was a stranger wearing the mask of my wife. I didn't confront her then. That would have been reckless. Revenge doesn't belong to the impulsive. It belongs to the patient. So I started collecting proof. Bank statements, call logs, GPS routes from her car. I traced purchases, luxury items I'd never seen, weekend retreats that were in fact hotel stays with him. I hired a private investigator. Within weeks, I held undeniable evidence. Photographs of her fingers tangled with his, their mouths pressed together in parking lots, in bars, even outside the home I worked to provide. Every betrayal was logged, time-stamped, and preserved in a folder thick enough to crush every excuse she might try to give. Once I had it all, I moved the pieces into place. I funneled my earnings into a private account. I shut down the joint card she'd been bleeding dry. I sat with a divorce lawyer. Ironically, one her own father had once recommended to me, saying, "If she ever betrays you, don't wait." The irony wasn't lost on me. While she giggled with her lover, I was forging a blade made of legal documents, strategy, and resolve. And then the night came, the night she thought she would break me. We clashed, or rather, she mocked while I stayed calm. She accused me of being distant, of no longer satisfying her. Finally, she spat out the words with venom. "If you're so miserable, just leave." She expected a fight, a meltdown, or desperate begging. Instead, I looked her in the eye, steady and unshaken, then turned and began to pack. Her voice cracked, uncertain now. "You're really leaving?" "Yes," I said. Nothing more. That night I walked out. She believed it was her triumph. But for me it was the opening move and her downfall. The storm followed quickly. Her father called, his voice shaking with anger. "What happened? Why did you abandon her?" I invited him over, sat him down, placed the folder in front of him. Photos, receipts, text messages. I watched his expression harden with every page. This was a man who valued honor and loyalty above everything. His daughter had been his pride. Now she was his disgrace. When he finished, his hands shook. He met my eyes. "I'll handle this," he said. I didn't ask how. I didn't need to. 2 nights later, she called me. Her voice was frantic, trembling. "What did you do?" I almost laughed. "What do you mean?" "My father," he stormed in. "He had the photos, the receipts. He knows everything. He said I've shamed him. He's cut me off." Her sobs cracked through the line. The arrogance was gone. The same woman who dared me to walk away now sounded like a frightened child watching her world burn. I stayed silent. That silence cut deeper than any words could. Her life unraveled in front of her. Her father ended his support. The friends she once bragged to now whispered about her betrayal. Her lover, gone the moment her money disappeared. I heard later she begged him to stay. But men like him don't love, they feed. And when the feast is gone, they hunt elsewhere. She came back to me eventually, tearful, begging, promising change. But I was already gone. My lawyer filed the divorce. With proof of her betrayal, I kept the house, the savings, and even, ironically, earned her father's respect. I can still picture her face the night her father stormed in, slamming the folder onto her table, bellowing, "Do you realize what he's done?" Not fear, not anger, but realization. The recognition that I wasn't the weak man she thought I was. While she was weaving her lies, I was building the noose. She expected me to beg. Instead, I let her destroy herself. Now, I sit in my home at peace, rebuilt from the ashes she thought she left me in. Do I miss her? No, you can't miss a ghost. Do I regret it? Not for a second. She told me to leave, so I did. And in walking away, I set fire to the world she'd built. Betrayal taught me something. Silence carves deeper than screams. Patience cuts sharper than rage. And when vengeance finally comes, it doesn't need to roar. It only needs to whisper.